Uh, well, welcome everybody. Today's class is going to be really soothing. We're going to move slowly and consciously and give ourselves a free massage. But it'll also be really fun to explore how these slow, conscious movements do generate a really even and overall sense of strength. Even though we're not exerting and we're not efforting, we'll have some time at the end to just notice our ability to support ourselves without any strain, without any tension. So with that, if you've got your cushions set up, you can turn to the right and recline on your support. And so just to check, the left side of your body should be closest to the screen so that it's easiest to follow along. And as you come on to the back, make sure your neck feels supported. So I'm re-angling my cushion because the back of my skull was dropping back a little bit. So take your time. We'll be here for long enough that it's really worth it to invest in your support. And so once your neck is supported, make sure that the low back isn't arching too much. Sometimes if the cushion's too big at the bottom, you'll feel like you're in a little back bend, and we want to have a fairly neutral spine. And then bring your awareness down to the legs. The soles of the feet can be on the earth. You can walk the feet forward. You can knock the knees in a little bit. Really whatever's most comfortable. It is fine to extend the legs, but sometimes I find that isn't the most comfortable position for the low back. So just check in, experiment a little bit. And then if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes. And just start to observe your breath flow. And so often in our day and even in our yoga practice, we overemphasize the inhale. And we don't actually have a full, complete exhale. So we're going to take a little bit of time to even out the breath. And so let the inhale be totally natural, but don't feel like you're efforting or drawing breath into the belly. It's just flowing in. And then bring all your awareness to your exhale and let it slow down a little. And each time you exhale, see if you can ever so gently pause at the bottom of the exhale and let the inhale start to arrive. Like you don't have to reach out for it, you can let it come to you. And at first, this might be challenging, might even feel like you're out of breath, and of course always breathe in a way that helps you feel safe and relaxed, and ignore me at any time if this breath isn't working. I find that the times that that's happening, it means I really actually need this. And so just be really patient and don't force it, but see if you can relax and stay with the exhale and allow it to get empty completely. And as you continue to breathe, it can be helpful to keep connecting with the sensations of the breath, to keep you interested, keep you present. And so with each exhale, notice, what does it feel like in your body to release, to soften, to let go of the breath, but also of tension, also thoughts. Something I love so much about the exhale is this ability to help me relax and release very deeply while simultaneously providing support and strength. How often do we use our exhale to do a challenging movement? And so there's this really cosmic balance of being strong and also releasing tension and doership at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. And our exhale really helps us tune into that strength that's possible when we really let go. We'll just take a couple more breaths like this. And start wiggling your toes, almost like your toes are little inchworms, able to scrunch up and release. And then walk the feet a little wider. Keep feeling your breath as you start to introduce movement. Just gently windshield wipering the knees from side to side. You don't have to go very far. Allow the arms to start to come to a big T. You might even notice a gentle stretch across the pecs. You can continue going with the arms overhead if it feels good, but if you feel too much sensation in the shoulders and the chest, let it be mellow. And then lift the feet, grab behind the legs, and start to kick the legs forward to ever so gently roll up to seated. And that was so fun. Let's do that a couple of times. It's almost like magic because you're so high up to begin with. So just imagine that you're rolling all the way up from the ground and it's this effortless. This nice soothing strength you have where you don't have to force, but you're integrated and supported. On the next time you roll up, turn just so that you can move your props out of the way. We'll be coming back to them at the end of class, maybe. So you can leave your little ramp set up, but just make sure you've got like a foot at least on the side of your mat. And then we will recline back down because we'll have a similar trajectory from last week where we start on our backs. And it's kind of fun after being on the ramp. As you recline, just notice this sense of almost like going beyond the floor. Just imagine you're in the earth now, but don't worry, you can breathe. You're just very grounded. And reach the fingers towards the heels. Walk the heels in so the ankles are just ahead of the knees and slowly start to curl up one vertebra at a time. Push down into the shoulders and the hands. And then as you slowly set down each vertebra, you can pause, and if you'd like, hit play on your first track. Make sure it's set to loop because, or if you're on Apple Music, you don't need to because it's a 10-hour long track. But if you're on Spotify, make sure it's set to loop. And this is like my favorite mellow song of all time. And once you've got your music, ever so gently start to windshield wiper the knees and simultaneously start to snow angel the arms. And just notice how when the arms are overhead, the knees can naturally start to go a little further. And you might start to feel the rotation through the spine. And become really interested in the opposition between the shoulders and the knees. So as the knees reach to the right, feel the left shoulder gently anchor. And as the knees reach over to the left, feel the opposite thing happen. And then try to feel the connection from the front of the right shoulder over to the left hip, and almost notice how that prevents you from going too far. So this is more of an experience of strength than just releasing the knees down from the side. On the next time the knees roll over, pause on the side for a moment, stack the hands and the legs, and then draw the elbows and knees together in one slow oozing movement, and then let everything reach out. And do this a couple of times, feeling the work of the front of the body shortening, and try to allow the back of the body to participate. So the whole body is moving in unison. And the next time you lengthen out, slowly roll onto the belly. Pause for a moment. Notice the right side of your body. Any sensations feeling different there than the left? And then slowly lift the left foot up and lift the right hand up, and stretch the hand and foot apart so you're getting as long as possible. And then set everything down and swap sides. And now alternate, and don't worry about lifting very high, but instead see how long you can reach hand and foot apart. And try playing with lifting on the exhale. And notice that sense of support that the exhale provides, helping you get as long as possible, but really feeling anchored at the center. And then pause for a moment at center. Drag the right hand underneath the shoulder and gently push all the way over the left side onto the back. And simultaneously drag the heels in as you circle the arms around you, coming to your bridge setup. I'm sorry, I know you need a lot of space for this one, so always feel free to scooch on over to the left so you've got more room. Take a nice slow bridge pose, feeling the front of the body lengthen as you lift up. And then slowly set the spine back down. And take a couple of bridge poses and start to play with the breath a little bit. There's no right or wrong. For the purpose of this class, it can be fun to exhale as you come up and notice how that provides a really nice sense of support. And as you inhale on your way down, notice how that also provides a sense of inner buoyancy, even as the body releases. And the next time the hips lift, pause. Slowly set one vertebra down at a time as the arms start to reach overhead. And we're going to repeat that a few times. So once the hands land, make a big circle around the body, bringing the hands back towards the heels. Lift the spine back up. And then set one vertebra down at a time as the arms reach all the way overhead. See if hips and hands can land at the same time. And then nice easy circle around the body. We'll do just one more. We'll all land with the arms overhead, and then you can go right into a couple of windshield wipers, letting the low back relax and letting the thigh bones move really freely in the hip socket, so you're not worried about how far you're going. Next time you roll to the left, squeeze the elbows and the knees together, and then lengthen everything out. And just take a couple protozoa pulses and try moving twice as slow. And really imagine that you're not a solid mass. I know Kelsey would say, move like honey. And the next time you reach out, slowly ooze back onto the belly. And we're going to take a couple of rolls from side to side. So circle the arms behind you and lift all the way up into a flying cobra. And then reach the right arm overhead, push down into the left fingers, rolling onto the back. Drag the heels in as you circle the arms back down to the bridge, just like we did on the other side. Slowly lift the hips. And then as the hips come down, let the arms go overhead. And we'll go right into our flying cobra. So extend the right leg, kick into the left foot. We'll skip the protozoa pulse and then just circle the arms behind you into flying cobra. And then right hand down, left arm overhead, push into the right hand. And as you roll onto the back, let the right arm draw a big circle overhead and then all the way around the right side. If you've got room, drag the heels in. Take your bridge. And then lower hips as arms come overhead. And we'll just do one more time each side. So extend the left leg, push into the right foot, rolling onto the belly. Circle the arms back, lifting through the whole front of the body. Left hand down, right arm reaches, slowly roll over the right side. And this is my favorite part. Let the left hand come overhead and allow it to slowly draw a big circle to the left as the heels start to drag in. So you naturally just wind up in that bridge pose. And then as the hips lower, arms float overhead. Right leg reaches out. Kick into the left foot, rolling over. Circle the arms back. Very last one. Left arm reaches. Rest the head on the left arm. Roll over the left side. And let the right arm reach overhead. And let it circle all the way to the right. As the heels drag in, the arms circle down to meet them. Let the hips lift. And then set the hips down as arms come overhead. Extend the left leg, push into the right foot, and we'll all meet on our belly. Let's do another round of those X's. So this time we'll start with left hand and right foot, reaching them apart, and just feel that connection between the right hip and the left shoulder. And then release hand and foot and switch sides. And it's like the body is an X, okay? And so we're just lifting one half of the X at a time. And when we can really connect these dots between right and left, these oppositions in the body, we start to turn on a new sense of support and strength. And so even though we're not working very hard here, we're just starting to coordinate the spiral line of the body so it can support us in our later postures. And if you would like to try lifting the whole X, you can. And then set the feet down, drag the hands underneath the shoulders, and just gently push into the hands to send the hips back to the heels. And if you're not on your mat, it is fine to make your way back to your mat and just start to paw the hands into the mat, letting them push your hips from side to side. Tuck the toes under and give your feet a little massage if that's comfortable on your plantar fascia. And then push down into the knees and slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. And now we're going to play with the front of the X. So imagine you've got a TheraBand, one of those like tight, stretchy bands that you use for like physical therapy, and it's connected to your left hip. Hold it with the right hand and start to reach the right hand up and over to the right and feel the strength across from right shoulder to left hip. So you don't go very deep here. And then let the TheraBand release so the hand goes back to the hip. Take a couple of these. So maybe you can notice how this is a similar patterning that we were doing on the belly, but you're feeling totally different muscles, right? You're feeling the muscles on the front of the body, the front of the spiral, rather than the back. And just take one more and pause. Make sure you can breathe fully and that there's no tension in the back of that right shoulder. If there is, come out of it a little bit. And then release the hand down and we'll do the other side. And so left hand to right hip and pull the TheraBand, letting the body reach up and to the left. And then go back the way you came and move really nice and slow so you can actually feel this tension happen. It's not just an image. When you move in that way, you actually start to harness more strength in the front of the spiral line of the body, almost like the sensation of doing a crunch, but you're lengthening out. And the next time the arm lifts to the left, slow or pause, make sure you can breathe, check in with the shoulder. And then release everything down. Shake out the shoulders, shake out the hips, and then come back to center and start to flex the hips as you reach the arms forward. Take a couple of pulses here and just notice the sensation of the arms reaching into the center of the back. So there's no tension in the tops of the shoulders. All of the support of the arms is coming from the middle of the back. It's okay if the arms don't make it all the way overhead. I rather your shoulders feel really soft and relaxed. I feel like almost all humans can benefit from releasing tension in the shoulders. The next time you come down, we'll add those toe taps from last week. So shift the weight towards the right as you come back up and tap the left toe. And then bring it underneath you right into that kneeling chair and go the other way. And now move extra slow. And see if you can exert less effort, almost as if you were in like a warm pool. Your body didn't weigh, well, it weighs the same, but it doesn't feel like it weighs the same when you're in water. And then start to connect with the breath. So your inhale pulls you into a buoyant chair and your exhale controls your toe tap. And the next time the right foot comes forward, pause there and walk the foot in a little bit. Relax the shoulders and slowly start to lift and lower the heel. Keep the big toe down and keep the ankle really squared so you're not knocking in or out. And this is a really subtle way of activating the soleus muscle, our very deep stabilizing calf muscle that some of you learned about in the wisdom training. The next time the toe is lifted, pause there, sweep the arms up, let the front of the body open, and then drop the heel down and let the body melt over the leg. And just take a couple of these, slowly raising onto the toe, letting the whole front of the body open, and then dropping the heel and letting the body melt over the leg. And the next time you melt, pause there, release the hands, and walk the right foot forward several inches so you feel like you've got space between the right foot and the left knee. And then start to circle on the heel, drawing some big circles around the heel, and notice how the knee starts to follow, and notice how the hips start to follow. And then, because the hips are following, let that circle connect all the way back to the left knee. So you're circling on the knee and the heel, and the whole body is following, but the movement is really coming from the ground up. And walk the hands forward. Untuck or lift the back knee so you're in a half plank, and very slowly step the right foot back to meet the left. We haven't done a whole lot, but notice any sense of support you feel in your plank pose. The spiral line can really make planks feel powerful and easy at the same time. Always feel free to set down the knees, especially if you're not feeling the qualities I just named. And then ever so slowly let's all bring the knees down and start to melt the body towards the mat. Reach the arms towards the feet so the arms can relax, and just pause before we do that on the second side. Draw a big circle, reaching hands overhead. And then lift opposite arm and leg. This time, you've got the option to bend the knee and bend the elbow and turn towards the elbow side, looking at the foot, and then switch sides. If you want to bend both elbows and keep the body lifted, that's totally fine. Or if you want to stay low and bend one elbow at a time and keep the other hand on the earth for support, that can be really nice and soothing. And the next time you lengthen out, pause, forehead to mat, roll the forehead from side to side. And then reach the arms out to a T, just to change it up. And shimmy the shoulders a little bit so you're relaxing any tension in the shoulders and letting the muscles of the back almost like shake off your bones a little. And then imagine you're reaching the right arm forward and the left foot lifts. And see if you can create that same length through the spine even though the arms aren't reaching anymore. Just reach and lift in this nice even way. And then float the arms and place the hands underneath the shoulders. Slowly press the hips back to the heels, tuck the toes under, and then stack one vertebra at a time, rolling up to the knees. And then left hand to right hip. Start to lift the TheraBand up and away. We'll just do one of these each side, and then let the TheraBand come back and switch sides. So now right hand to left hip, lift the TheraBand away. Nice job moving really slow through this. And then let it come back. And then drop both arms, shake out the shoulders. And slowly flex the hips, reaching the hands forward, and then shift forward to your toe tap. And we'll just do one of these each side. And then one more so you can land on the left side. And relax the shoulders down. Bring your awareness to your foot. Make sure the ankle is balanced. So notice if you have a tendency to knock the ankle in or out. And then slowly start to shift the weight onto the ball of the foot like you have a very high heel on. And then sweep the arms up and let the whole front of the body lengthen. And drop the heel down. Let the arms swing back as you melt forward. And just repeat this a few times at your own pace if you want to connect the breath. For our soothing strength, I am going to recommend exhaling up and inhaling down. But try both. Find what works for you. I notice when I exhale on my back bend, I can really feel my core strength integrating through the whole front of my body. The next time you release down, plant the hands, scooch the left foot forward, the right knee comes back and wide, and then we start to circle on the left heel. And then notice how circling on the left heel translates up to the left knee and then up to the pelvis as a whole. You might notice you're already circling on the right knee naturally. So just let the left heel and the right knee direct this movement. And the hips are really quite soft and they're just following. You can switch directions. And walk the hands back a little bit and inch the left foot back. And actually bring the right knee and the left heel pretty close together. And then start to twist into the left knee. Shift the weight into the left foot so the right knee can hover. And then power into the left leg to inflate all the way up to standing. You can reach up. And then release the hands. And if you're not facing me, you can just switch so that you're facing me and it's easier to follow. And we'll go that way one more time and then we'll switch sides. So I know you guys have done this sequence with me before. Remember, the movement starts at the feet and the knees and the hips follow. So let the feet turn to the left and let everything follow. You can stay really high, especially if you've got sensitive knees, and just gently twist into the left. If you want to go lower and there's no strain in the knees, you can lower all the way down, bringing the right hand towards the left foot. And then power into the left leg, inflating all the way open. Nice. And then let's try going the other way. So turn the feet to the right, let the left heel spin up. And then it's up to you how low you go. Take a couple of bounces so you feel really springy, almost like you're on a trampoline. Yeah, nice. And then decide how low you want to dip that left knee. Reach the left hand towards right knee or right foot, and then power into the right foot to come up. And then repeat that a couple times on your own. And once you feel comfortable, you can start to switch sides. And then start to tune into your breath. Notice how it feels to exhale up. Notice how it feels to try exhaling down. And decide when you need the most of that soothing strength. It might be different. Or maybe you just want a nice steady breath flow and it's not really synced to movement. Nice, yeah, Davey. It looks like you're doing Tai Chi. You're just like one with the energy. I love it. And then the next time you're reaching up, pause. And again, just notice the X of the body. Trace the pathway up the right leg to the right hip and then across to left shoulder, left chest, left hand. And then trace the other leg up to the other arm. And then just gently release the arms down. And we're going to do a little ankle stretch. And please do whatever is most comfortable and safe feeling for you. Something I will share is a lot of times twisted ankles come from really tight ankle muscles and really weak ankle muscles. So just open up to the possibility of this actually helping your ankles become stronger. So roll on to the outer edge of the right foot. And if that's really hard, that's a great indication that maybe those muscles on the lateral side of the leg and the heel are tight. Because when do we ever do this, right? We're like, no, this is bad, right? And so don't feel guilty, don't feel bad. Just see how this stretch is going for you. And start to circle through the hips. The circling of the hips is really magical because it gets you to apply a shearing force across that lateral stretch. So you might notice how circling the hips changes the sensation in the outside of the right foot and the right heel, and can switch directions with the circle. And I'm going to give you guys a minute to explore on your own, and here are some of the options. Try bending the right knee. It makes it a little more intense, so if that's too much, you don't have to do it. And then if you do want to keep exploring, you can step the left foot in front and cross it over and actually start to side bend away from the stretched ankle, right? So now it's not just about the ankle, it's stretching the whole right side of the body. What? And then very slowly push down into the left foot so you can come to neutral and allow the right foot to plant. Shift the weight into the right foot, step the left foot back to where it came from, and walk the feet underneath you and just pause in a Tadasana and just notice the different sensations in the right foot. Notice any sense of having a clear connection through the lateral edge, that outside edge of the right foot. And perhaps it translates up to a sensation in the knee and the hip. And when you're ready, we'll do the same thing on the other side. And now that you know the options, you can always stop or go ahead or, do this at your own pace. But from a wide Tadasana or a short straddle, depending on how you want to look at it, start to bring the outer edge of the left foot towards the mat, letting the bottom side of the foot start to curl up a little bit. And then ever so gently start to circle the hips. And the right foot is just planted normally and evenly. And if you ever don't feel safe, it is fine to back off. I think all of us have probably rolled our ankles at some point, so there literally can be that, trauma stored in those tissues. So be really kind and gentle with yourself, but then see what feels available. The next option is the bending of the knee as the hips circle. And I just took a shorter stance when I did that, so feel free. And then the next step would be crossing the right leg over the left, lifting the left arm and just taking a side stretch to the right. So you might feel that stretch sensation through the left side, but really evenly, right? From the outer edge all the way up to the armpit, maybe even beyond, and you can just gently roll forward and roll back. And then come back to center. Bring extra weight on the right foot so you can untuck the left foot and then shift the weight to the left. Step the feet back out And then slowly heel toe the feet underneath the hips and just pause. And again, and notice if this changed anything in the sensations in your feet. And reconnect with the breath and just let yourself be in Tadasana for a moment. And then slowly start to heel toe. Heel toe the feet out. Point the feet over to the right. And bend the left knee a little bit. And I took too big of a stance, so here's how I'm going to shorten my stance. Shift the weight into the right foot and take some bounces with the left foot until the left foot starts to land in the same spot, right? And really try to bend the left knee so it's almost like you've got a little flipper behind you. And then just notice which way the hips are pointed, which way the feet are pointed, and release the toes of the left foot down. And keep bouncing with the knees. So you've got little springs for your legs. And keep the knees bent, keep the hips low, drop the arms. Start to circle the arms forward, rounding forward, connecting strength in the front of the body. And then push down into both legs to slowly rise up, letting the left ankle anchor. Reach straight up into Virabhadrasana 1. Let the right knee bend. And then simultaneously straighten the right leg and drop the right arm. Take a nice side bend to the right. And then slowly lift the right arm back up. And we'll go back to the beginning. So bend both knees, get bouncy in the legs, drop the arms. Draw a big circle around you, scooping out, hollowing out the front of the body. And then push down into the legs, rising up one vertebra at a time, letting the back heel connect and bend into the front knee for Virabhadrasana 1. Straighten the right leg, drop the right arm, and take a nice easy side bend to the right. You can also reach back into the right slightly, so feeling that X of the body. Once again, the left shoulder and the right hip connecting behind you. And then reach the right arm up, bend both knees, drop the arms. We're going to do this one more time. Big circle in front of you. And then push down into the legs, slowly rising up into Virabhadrasana 1. And then straighten the right leg, drop right arm, take your side bend or your side back bend. And then reach both arms up, bend both knees, reach forward, and then we're going to sweep all the way over to the other side, turning on the feet, and we'll do the same thing on this side. So hollow the body out. Push down into the legs, slowly stacking one vertebra at a time. Right heel comes down, left knee bends. Feel the front of the body inflating into an effortless back bend. And then straighten left leg, drop left arm. Push into the outer edge of the right foot. Imagine that it's almost like tucked under like it was before, and just feel that connection. And then lengthen up through the whole right side of the body. Reach the left arm up. And then bend both knees, lift the right heel, drop the arms, and circle them forward. Push down into the feet, rise up one vertebra at a time, connect the right heel, and then bend the left knee at the same time that the arms reach up for Vira 1. Straighten left leg, drop left arm, push into the outer edge of the right foot to inflate whole right side of the body. And then lift up. I can't remember if that's 2 or 3, so let's just do, oh great, we'll do one more to keep it balanced. So slowly connect the front of the body, hollow body, and then roll up Vira 1. And then drop left arm, straighten left leg, and take your side reach. And then lift the left arm back up, bend both knees, reach forward, and circle all the way over to the other side. This time, plant the hands down and drag the right foot back to plank pose. You can drop the knees if you'd like, or pause and plank and visualize those X's of the body. If you want a little extra here, you can play with coming on to the right fingertips so the weight shifts into the left hand a little bit more. And let's actually drop the right knee and hover the left foot. And then tuck the left toes under and inch the right knee back just a little bit so you're halfway between a table and a plank. And just feel the support from the left hip up into the right shoulder. If you feel this is really easy, you are welcome to try doing it from a plank pose. So on to the right fingertips with the left foot hovering. So lots of options. And then we'll eventually swap sides. And you know where we're going, so take your time if it's feeling good. But when you're ready, lower both knees. And then to come into it the same way, actually, if your legs were straightened at first, stay in plank. And then lift onto the left fingertips. And notice the weight shifting into the right hand. And then lower the left knee and hover the right foot. And then stay there. Notice the connection between now right hip and left arm. Or left hip and right arm really stabilizing underneath you. Option to inch the left knee back a little bit. And also option to lift into this almost like three-legged plank with just a little kickstand of the left hand. Then lower the knees, lower the palms, send the hips back to the heel. Breathe towards the armpits. And walk the hands over to the left, letting the right armpit melt towards the knees. Make sure you can breathe and make sure you're not overstretching. And then walk the hands over the other way. And then walk the hands back to center. And slowly push down into the knees, coming to tabletop. And if it's comfortable, lift the feet towards the glutes, so the feet are pointed up towards the sky, and push down into the left hand. Let the feet start to roll to the left, all the way onto the hips, and then go the other way. And move at your own pace, just taking a few rolls, and there's quite a lot of spiraling happening here. You don't have to think about it, but feel free to notice it. And then feel free to add anything on as you spiral. The body wants to keep going. I know it takes a lot of space, so you might not have an option. But at any time, give yourself the freedom to follow the body's instructions. That might change the pathway a little. And then we'll all meet to the left side of the mat, but you don't need to rush. And extend the legs forward, and because we have to inch our way closer, we'll do a little walk, lifting one sit bone at a time until your hips make it towards the center of the mat. And then bend the knees, and this is really similar to what we were doing in parivrtta 1, where we were really trying to connect the front of the body before we came into our back bend. So slowly start to circle the arms forward, let the back of the neck lengthen, grab onto your toes. It can be big toe or just all toes. And very gently start to lengthen through the front of the body. Imagine the front edge of the body sucking up towards the back edge of the body, so you almost round forward a little bit extra. And then very slowly start to roll up, letting the front of the body stay strong as it lengthens. And see if you can roll all the way onto the back, imagining the quads are helping counter tension the core so that you can control your way down one vertebra at a time. And pause once you land. And normally it's not this long between laying down times, So let's take a little extra pause. Reconnect with breath. Notice your ability to find the bottom of the exhale. And then slowly drag the heels in. Lift one vertebra at a time. As you set the spine down, let the arms float overhead. And then extend the left leg, push into the right foot, slowly rolling onto the belly. Keep the right knee bent. Drag both arms back into cactus and then side bend to the left, looking at the left foot. And then swap feet, side bend to the right. And now extend the right arm, push into the left hand, roll onto the other side. And then draw that big circle, bringing both hands down as you drag the right heel up right into your bridge. As the hips go down, arms go overhead, extend right leg, kick into left foot, roll onto the belly, drag the arms back and gaze over the right shoulder at the left foot, and then switch sides. And then let's do that one more time. So left arm reaches out, push into the right hand, rolling onto the back. Drag the left leg in at the same time that the arms are circling over. Just land right in bridge pose. And then set the hips down as the arms float up. Extend left leg, kick into the right foot. Keep the left knee bent and go right into your swimming shalabhasana to the left. And then to the right. And then lengthen out the right arm, push into the left hand. Big circle with the left arm all the way down to the left hip. Drag the right foot in, bridge. Last one, set the spine down, extend right arm, right leg, roll onto the belly, right into last round of swimming shalabhasana. And then from center, place the hands down. Slowly push the hips back to the heels and roll up one vertebra at a time. Sweep the arms up, send the hips back, and we'll go into our toe taps. And the next time the left foot is forward, pause there, and we're going to add on. We're going to combine our Theraband Astrasana with Anjaneyasana. So bring the right hand to the left hip and slowly stretch the Theraband up and over to the right. And then do the same thing, left hand to left hip, coming into a full back bend, but we're just doing it 1x at a time. And then slowly release the left hand, release the right hand, and just bow forward, letting the hands reach back. And then we'll roll up and do it again. So right hand reaches up and back, left hand reaches up and back, and then let them come back in and just curl down. And if it's too much doing both, you can just go back to one at a time. But if it's comfortable, notice how this is providing a different sense of support than you might have experienced in a back bend before. We'll do one last round. And then release the hands inside of the foot. Separate the space between knee and foot. You're welcome to create a larger space than you did on the first round if you want, and then start circling around the heel and the knee, letting the hips follow. And then pause from center. Lift the back knee and start to kick into the front heel, extending any amount through that leg. And then drop the knees down, roll up and come right back into your TheraBand backbend 1x at a time. And then lower the hands down. Kick into the left heel, lift the right knee, and flex forward. And so just take a couple of these pulsations on your own, coming into the back bend one side at a time, melting down and then lifting the back knee and extending. We'll do one last round. And then melt back down and extend the right leg behind you in a half plank and slowly drag the left foot back to meet. And pause, shift the weight from side to side. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So drop the knees, send the hips to the heels. Roll up one vertebra at a time. And then hips back, hands forward, kneeling chair. Take your toe taps. We'll just do a couple and we'll all land with the right foot forward. Left hand to right hip, reach up and over. And then right hand to left hip, reach up and over, and let your spiral line support you in this back bend. And then bring the hands back down and release forward, letting the arms reach between the legs. And then just take a couple of these, getting used to the patterning. Start to connect with the breath and play both with the inhale and the exhale, noticing how you find the most support. I find that sometimes inhaling encourages people to extend their low backs more, like not in a supported way. And so just make sure the low back feels really comfortable. And the next time you release forward, release the hands down, separate the foot and the knee a little wider, and start to circle on the heel and the knee, letting the hips just ooze. You're not really worrying about a stretch, just let the hips follow the circling of the heel. And then from here, lift the back knee, start to kick into the right heel, letting the right leg extend any amount. And then slowly set everything down and roll up right into your TheraBand back bend. And we'll pulse between those two shapes, coming back down into our modified parivrtta, and then rolling back up and taking 1x at a time into your back bend. Make sure you can breathe. And the next time you're in parivrtta, the round is complete, so you can lower the back knee down. And then inch the back knee forward just a little bit, closing the space between right heel and left knee. Start to twist into the right leg, generating strength on the right side of the body. Hover the left knee, and then power into the right foot as you turn to the left. And keep on going all the way to the left, and just take a couple. And just notice the movement being generated from the feet, but how easy it is for the body to follow. As you intelligently sequence this spiral line of the body, it almost knows what to do. The next time you're facing to the left, pause there and slowly melt the right heel down, just like we did in our Virabhadrasana 1, but we're going to add on now from here. So we're going to play with coming into parivrtta trikonasana with a little bounce. So start by just bending the knees and making sure you're really nice and springy. And then slowly keep the left knee bent. Start to reach the right hand forward and towards the left foot. And notice the left side of the leg almost extending and reaching out like a rubber band. And then push into the left foot and let that open the body to the right. And try this a couple times now. Kick into the right foot. Let the right hand swing forward as the left knee bends. And then kick into the left foot, letting the right arm swing back and the left arm swing forward. And so the first movement starts at the right foot, swinging the right arm forward. Second movement starts at the left foot as the left arm swings forward. And just start to bounce forward and back. Let the right foot send you forward and the left foot send you back. And then notice each time that you bounce, the ability to start to hinge the hips really effortlessly, right? It doesn't matter how deep you go, but maybe it feels really natural to spiral a little bit more towards that left leg. If there's any moment that you want to pause, you're totally welcome to. You can pause at the top, you can pause in the pose, but just make sure you can breathe. Yeah, feel free to try moving extra slow. And see if you can feel, again, these X's, right? The opposite left leg to right arm, and the spiral of support around you. And the next time you come up, let the arms reach up, turn the toes to the right, and then keep turning all the way and hop the left foot out so you're facing the other direction. And we'll try it from this side. So take a moment, bend both knees, make sure you're springy. Give yourself the opportunity to step the left foot a little wider to the left. And then lower the left heel down, any amount that's comfortable. Push into the outer edge of the left foot and let that start to send you forward. Reach the left arm forward. And then push into the right foot and let that send you back. And start to swing the arms as you go. Make sure every time you come forward, the right knee bends. And then little by little, you might play with hinging the hips. You don't have to, especially if it doesn't feel good. But you might notice that there's more room available. Hey, Mel, try to step the left foot in just a little bit and keep the toes forward. It's okay for that left heel to be off the ground if that's more comfortable for, yeah, is that okay? Great. And then make any accommodations because I know that your foot is healing. And once you've got the hang of it, you're welcome to slow it down and see if it still feels smooth. You're welcome to hold in any position or take a break. And the next time you're down low, push into the foot, turn all 10 toes to the left, let the arms rise up, and just pause for a moment. Stretch the arms. We'll just be dramatic and be in this huge X, really embracing the spiral line of our body, feeling the legs and arms anchoring into this very strong double helix of support. And then gently melt the arms down. Square the feet off so they're facing the long edge of the mat. I was sort of at a weird angle. And start to gently bend the left knee and reach the right hand towards the left foot. And then let the left leg fill up with air so it just naturally lengthens back out. And then we'll go the other way. And we're starting to cool down. And so let this be so gentle and so effortless. Notice a sense of support through the body and evenness in your movements. It's almost like we've used the spiral line a lot, and now we just want to make sure we can walk through the pathway of the spiral line with no tension. Right, making sure nothing overworked. And just a reminder to bend the knee to whatever side you're reaching towards. If you want to stay low and cross the midline from the bottom, you can switch legs and come up that way. The next time you're low, let's all meet in the middle so the hands are between the feet, and bend the knees so deeply so there's no strain. And just ever so gently push into one foot at a time and let the spine start to sway from side to side. And then gently start to walk the hands over to the left. Turn all 10 toes to the left and drag the left leg back to your plank pose, and just pause. You're welcome to stay in plank if you're enjoying it. You're welcome to lower the knees and meet on the belly. You're also welcome to take another one of those flying planks. The hand can stay tented or it can start to reach forward. Whatever you do on one side, play with it on the other side. Notice if it's easier on one side. And then if you did take a flying plank, just lower the knees and circle the hips a couple of times, just releasing any tension. And then slowly lower onto the belly. And stack the hands, elbows wide, forehead to hands, and just pause for a moment. And notice if there's anything that the body is craving, any counter poses. Because we did a little bit of shoulder work at the end, something that can be nice is just gently extending the left arm and rolling on the left side to release any tension, and then doing that on the other side. But you're quite warmed up in a very soothing way. So if the body wants anything special, take your time and explore. It might be natural to roll onto the back and take one last bridge pose. You don't have to, but just planting seeds. Only you know what your body would enjoy. We'll take one more minute to explore. You can always do some gentle windshield wipers or even a gentle twist. Though I don't know if you need any more twists. And then we'll eventually roll forward and back, really taking your time. Even if you can make it up to seated, just enjoying one last little spinal massage before coming all the way up. And you can pause your music. Feel free to grab a sip of water. And then find a comfortable way to, because you've got all your stuff for your ramp, let's use that. And we'll do, we don't in this tradition do meditation lying down, but we can do pranayama lying down. So we'll do that for our meditation today. And it is fine to sit upright if that's more comfortable for you. The reason why the lying down can be really nice is it it can help open up the chest and the lungs so that you can get a really nice natural breath. So take a moment getting that same ramp from before set up. And take your time checking in with the neck, checking in with the low back. We definitely don't want to feel any stretch anywhere or any tension. This is just about having a lot of support and space in the front of the throat and lungs. And then adjust your feet. Same options as the beginning. And bring your right hand to your belly and your left hand to your heart. And if it's possible to situate on your cushion so your elbows are supported, that can be nice. If it's not comfortable for your arms, it's okay to just visualize that little bit of feedback. And we'll first just observe the natural breath flow. You might feel the body expanding and lifting on the inhale. And then come back to the exhale and just notice that quieting down and releasing. And see if you're able to release the breath fully and just stay in that empty space until the inhale naturally starts to float back in. And so we'll start to head towards the full diaphragmatic breath. And this just helps us fill the belly, the ribs, and the chest. So the first part of the breath is taking 1/3 of your inhale all the way down to the belly. And then we'll take the second third to the ribs and the final third to the chest. Let's first just start breathing towards the belly, noticing the hand gently rising. And then the hand that's on the heart, let it slide down so it's on the bottom of the rib cage, and just gently start to breathe into the ribs. And they go more wide than they do up, but maybe you can feel that almost like accordion expand underneath the hand. And then let that same hand float all the way up to the collarbones. And start to allow the breath to fill all the way up to the top of the chest. And so we'll put all three of those parts together, again taking just one inhale to breathe 1/3 to the belly, 1/3 to the ribs, 1/3 to the chest. And then we'll very slowly empty out from the bottom up, just completely following our exhale. and staying empty for a moment before we begin. If at any point this doesn't feel comfortable, just go back to your natural breath. And when you're ready, you can take the first third of the breath down to the belly, and then let the next third go to the ribs, and the final third all the way up to the chest. And now very gently start to exhale and feel the breath release from the top down so completely that you can just melt into that stillness and that emptiness. And then begin again. 1/3 to the belly, ribs, chest. And then nice, slow, even, complete exhale. Letting yourself sink completely into your bolster. So relaxed. And then on your own time, you'll continue with this breath, filling up from the bottom up. And letting the in-breath still be natural. You don't have to force anything. And then letting the exhale release and empty completely. You're welcome to continue with this breath for as long as it feels nourishing to you, and you're also welcome to just resume your natural breath at any time. And for Shavasana, you are welcome to stay on the bolster for any amount of time. It can be nice to open the arms so that the chest opens. And I find that Baddha Konasana is a little intense, but if you do have cushions nearby, you are welcome to support the legs in that way to just get some relaxation in the hips. You are also welcome to make your way off of the cushion onto the floor. And if there's any last poses or just a gentle hugging in of the knees to the chest, curling up to meet them, just take your time enjoying your body and your relaxed mind. And we'll just rest for the remainder of our class. Connect first with your breath, and then make any gentle movements. If you stayed on the bolster, I recommend hugging the knees into the chest and lifting the head towards the knees just as a little counter pose. Something. And then take your time, but eventually make your way up to seated. And bring hands to heart center. And just observe your body, your mind, and any deeper connection you might be feeling. And just take a couple of natural breaths to connect all of these spheres of your being. Thank you so much for sharing this practice. Namaste. So good to see you guys. With these soothing practices, where you're like, what did I even do? It can be interesting to just notice how you feel the rest of the day or even tomorrow. I would love to hear if you notice anything. But enjoy your calmness and hopefully your body free of stress, and have a great week. If you didn't see in the email, there's no class the next 2 Sundays, but for people in trainings, I will send you lots of fun classes to play with if you want to. And I will see you in 3 weeks, if not sooner.